Alrighty guys, so shop update. Ain't done one of these in a minute. So let's just start over here, okay? So I had a little Jiger 1000 dropped off with a rod knock. Customer sent us deposit, so I went ahead, dropped the motor, pulled it apart. These cases are ready to be stripped of their fine components, shift forks, etc., 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 all the jets for the squirters, and get cleaned of all the metal. I've already started cleaning all the small components and getting those ready. I have to pull the head apart, clean it, yada yada. Got to order the crank next week. I ordered rods. Then once I get the code for the crank, I'll get the bearings, gaskets, etc. Cole Layton dropped off the ZX10 motor. He started putting it together. When he tightened down the mains, it seized up. Break the mains loose, it turns. So he's got a main bearing clearance issue. It's something you deal with. It's coded correctly. He did get the right bearings for the code. It just doesn't have the clearance. So I'm going to have to figure out which one doesn't have the clearance. I'll pull it apart, mic the crank, bore gauge the bores, and figure out which one's off and order the appropriate bearing. The coding is not always correct. Always double check it. Don't trust the code. So that one's there. There's my cot. I've been sleeping at the shop. Coffee. I've been sitting here going through remote tunes. Selfish's motors over there. I got some parts coming in for it. Colts Bike, the Hyper Boosted Killer. It is back up here. So Dennis has completed his portion of this bike. That would involve all of the daily cruising street tuning, finesse on that. So now it's on to me, where I finesse the drive-by-wire and all the auxiliary features of the tune. So it does have a little on-off throttle. I wouldn't call it a stumble, more of a hesitation. It's annoying. Pretty sure I found that in the fuel cut settings. So got to try that out. I will be riding this weekend just to get some miles on it and check it out. Then I'll switch over to pump gas, do the same. And then the last switch over will be the E85 for delivery. I am running it on gate right now. We had a cruise control gremlin I had to fix. Not a big deal. This Max was bought secondhand. It was sold to a gentleman who had a cruise bike with ABS. This bike does not have ABS, but he did get the ABS harness, but the tune was not set up for it. Simple. Not a big deal. We got it squared away. So, working my way through that. Boost X has his full exhaust. He's got his rear sets. He's got everything done. I got a small brake fluid leak. I'm going to put new banjo bolts on the rear set. I used the banjo bolts that came with it. Apparently, they weren't the greatest. They didn't crush the way I wanted them to crush. They didn't seal nice. So, I'll pull them off. Not a big deal. Easy fix. It's holding air great on the compressed air. It's on E85 right now, running decent. It is completely untuned, but I did tootle down the road and back, and it rides nice. Sounds good, too. So, that one's up on the dyno here coming shortly. Jimmy's. We're going to try swapping an igniter and see if we've got a bad channel on an igniter, a weak channel. That isn't giving appropriate spark to one cylinder, because it's always the same cylinder that's missing, and it's always at 9 pounds of boost it starts to miss. At 13 pounds it just checks out. But at 6 pounds of boost it runs freaking phenomenal. So I don't know. We're also talking, me and Dennis, this motor hasn't been apart in like 3 revisions. It may be time to check it out and see what's going on with the motor. How's the health of the motor? It's had a rough life. It's not really been looked at in a long time. Ometh, his motor is together, second gear's replaced, shift forks replaced, all new gaskets, cam chains replaced, cam chain guides. It's in time. I leaked down, checked it, it's all square, set the valves, it's ready to stuff in. Scotty's got fork seals to put on that tonight. Hopefully he has fork oil. I think he said he bought fork oil, but I gotta check. ZX14, they dropped off a cam sensor. I haven't had an opportunity to put it on it and see if it'll start. It is throwing a code 23 immediately. FI error. Code 23 for cam sensor failure. No power from cam sensor. That usually means an open circuit in the cam sensor. The cam sensor that is in this is cracked, so I'm suspecting that's a possibility. Tulip. Scotty had a shim spit on that used head he bought, so we went ahead and replaced that valve, inspected the others, replaced the keepers in that valve because they took a little bit of a beating, but it never did drop the valve, so that is great news. Let's see. Brett's bike is near fire up, okay? I've got everything here to finish the fuel system. I just got to do it. I'm missing a few fittings for the boost control. The charge pipe is next door. He's drilling a hole in it next time he comes over, which will be this weekend. Bunch of little stuff. Then that'll fire up and be dyno ready. The TL1000 starts and runs. Needs a starter relay and a gas tank gasket for the fuel pump. This CBR, y'all might recognize it if you've been watching for a while. It came in for a stator and rectifier a while back. The gentleman picked it up. So I rode it to Cherokee and back, which is the longest it's ever ridden. And it charged perfectly, A+. He picked it up, rode it to the gas station, shut it off, and it wouldn't start again. So I went ahead and tore it apart, and the magnets started coming apart on the rotor. So I got a rotor on the way. I'll admit, I probably missed it. It was probably cracked and starting to come apart when the other stator failed. It may have been the cause of the other stator failing. But it was functioning when it left. Now it's coming apart worse. It is what it is. I'll buy a rotor. I missed it. Okay? So, this gentleman should be in to pick this bike up next week. So I just got to put the fairings back on. I took them off to street ride it one more time. I put about 70 miles on this thing just to verify no leaks, etc., etc., etc. That way when he gets it, he can just go. So I just got to put the fairings back on. This girl, Dennis, is coming up, not this week, but next week, and we are going to tune X and this. And then hopefully very shortly after that, maybe by the end of next week, this one goes back on for a retouch on the tune to make sure it's good, because the cam's probably moved. This one, hopefully not next week, but the week after, should be ready for the dyno. Then we'll get that tuned. Then hopefully very soon after that, I'll have that motor done, and I can tune that bike. This girl is leaving, going home as a roller. He has decided to scratch that project for now. I think he was going to sell the roller for $7,000. I don't know. But he's not sure on that, so I'm going to take Nancy 2.0 home. Donnie V picked up his bike today, so he is on his way home with that. He's happy with the way things worked out. It's making the same power it was making before it popped on the dyno, so we're pretty well settled that it's a configuration, how the build is. It just doesn't make the power. It is what it is. It was making the same power before it blew up as it is now. Nothing changed between the blow up and now, so makes sense that it'd make the same power. So that's all I got. I am going to head home and do laundry, pack a bag. Then I got to come back here early in the morning, load that bag in the trailer, Nancy 2.0 in the trailer, and then I have got to go to Kings of Grudge this weekend. I am reserved for a private tuning session, one-on-one with a bike. So I will be at Kings of Grudge working this weekend. If I think about it, I'll get some footage, but I'll tell you this, it's going to be a scorcher. I'm probably going to be hiding inside of air-conditioned trailers, talking to people, staring at my phone, waiting for the guy I'm tuning to make passes. Because it'll basically be, he'll make a pass, come back, I'll read the data, make adjustments, watch the videos, work through it, and he'll go make a pass again. That's racing, that's tuning, that's what a one-on-one tuning session is. You make a pass, y'all collect video, y'all get the data log on the bike, which I already programmed. Come back, I look through the data, look through the video, see what the chassis did. I'll suggest some chassis changes, which I'm not a chassis guy. I may suggest some clutch changes. I'm not a clutch guy, but I will try. It is best, honestly, the best program is the program that has a chassis guy, shock and gear, and a clutch guy that knows the clutch, and a tuner who knows how to apply the power and manipulate it to make the clutch and chassis work, all working together. Now this guy's got me. I can make the power work, I can apply the power, I can make things real freaking fast. But the chassis, I can do my best, and the clutch, I can do my best. But I'm no wizard. Y'all have a beautiful day.